G'day YouTube, how are we doing? It is Foul Play here, back for the third match of this Pioneer League. We've kept 7 cards after winning the die roll. Our opponent has done the same. So turn 1, we're just going to go ahead and play Commune with Spirits here. There's potential for a turn 2 Basara Archer Tower, and all we find off the top are mana sources, unfortunately. Black cliffs from our opponent into Thoughtseize, so the jig is up. Our hexproof creature probably in the bin. That one hurts. That one hurts a lot because this is probably getting run into removal, and there's not very much we can do. Or we could just draw a Basara Archer Tower off the top anyway. Look at that Thoughtseize bug in action. Just a little bit of like Thoughtseize players hate this, guys, right? Right. All right. So light pause, and we'll look to squeeze as much value out of this guy as possible. So we'll go ahead and Ethereal Armor on the Basara. See if we can get a trigger off here. In response, stomp on the light pause. That's fine. It's like pretty much always going to happen. So we're going to go ahead and attack for 3. Next turn, all the glitters, and see where we go from there. Opponent playing that Bonecrusher Giant from the escape. We're not upset to see that. Generous Visitor off the top. Not too shabby. We're going to get to Gra Guy even more. And not looking to diversify here, just looking to go all in on the Basara Archer Tower. That is a 7/6 creature, and he, she, whatever. That's a she. That I'm looking at the art there. That's definitely a she. She is getting in there. Another stomp from our opponent. This one, a sorcery speed, interestingly enough, attacking with the Bonecrusher Giant. Have they got any blockers, or are they just assuming we don't have lethal at this point? Well, they've shocked themselves down, so they better have a blocker of some description. Okay, Blood Tithe Harvester. Trample or flying would be perfect at this spot. That is neither. Alright, so let's go ahead and attack our opponent. I think this one's best served staying in hand. And then maybe we can get an extra trigger onto Basara, something like that. Opponent is still attacking in, 4 cards in hand currently. We go to 8. Guess I've got at least one more blocker. I mean, we see this Bonecrusher Giant in exile. Thoughtseize from our opponent. I mean, I call that a win. This Generous Visitor was very unlikely to deal damage, and we just got 2 damage on our opponent. Another Blood Crypt in tap. 2 cards left in hand now from them. And that's not nothing. An extra creature off to the side. Opponent's still forced to block. And then we have a shunt blocker for their Bonecrusher Giant to start preserving our own life total. Oh yeah, let's go. Opponent concedes. Okay, so our opponent's deck here is most likely the fabled Rackdos Midrange. This combines, you know, value creatures. This one has the ability to remove a creature. They've got Croxus sitting there, they've got the Shadow sitting there, but mainly it's Bonecrusher Giant, the Grave Trespasser, and the Sherald or the Apocalypse. Removal of Fatal Push, discard of Thoughtseize Dress in the sideboard. Dreadboard also in the main deck, Power Wordkill in the main deck as well. More removal of Rendering Volley, Abrade, Event Extinction, which is a big issue for us. This one's hard. We just have to try and race it, unfortunately. And Invoke Despair as well at the top end too. Reminder as well, guys, if you do enjoy this video, please consider subscribing. So Leyline of Sanctity is pretty necessary here to protect our whole hand from discard effects. And Kai's Ghost Form could also be handy. Most likely it's not going to be super impressive though. So after bringing in Leyline of Sanctity, I feel like Commune loses a bit of value. So let's take out our Communes. We'll take out one on all the glitters as well. Bring in the Leyline and the Ghost Form. Okay, so opponent keeping 7, and we see this 7 with 1 mana source, 4 creatures, no protection from discard whatsoever. I think we can do better. So mulligan, we find this one, we'll keep this one, ditching Alpha Authority. Notably, Sentinel's Eyes plays pretty well into our opponent's Thoughtseizes because we'll get it back eventually, right? Blood Crypt in tapped, okay. Audacity off the top as well. All right, so hopefully our opponent's a bit of a slower hand here at this point. And Blood Tithe Harvester from our opponent. This all seems okay so far. This could mean that our opponent has like a big sweeper effect, right? The event Extinction of Invoke Despair. So we could be like accelerating to a bit of trouble in that respect. Our opponent attacks in for 3, and we're going to go down to 15 off that one. Do they miss a land drop? They do not. All right. Fabled Mirror Breaker. Yep. This card is really, really good. Mana Confluence off the top. So we're just going to go ahead and throw down all our auras that we possibly can. If our opponent has event in Extinction, that's going to choose odd or even. Exile each creature with mana cost of the chosen value. So if they choose even, they'll lose their own creature as well. We'll get a card draw off the Audacity, and Sentinel's Eyes can come back from the graveyard onto our second Basara in hand. Attacking for 8 in the air. Sorry, that was not in the air. We have Trample, so not quite in the air. Power Word Kill discarded by our opponent to the Fabled Mirror trigger. And opponent's drawing a card with the Blood token. Okay, we might actually get there. Like an Ethereal Armor off the top would do it. Why are they keeping this 7 if it didn't have discard and has had like no interaction here? That's crazy. Are they just relying on a one-of Invoke Despair? Is that what's going on here? In any case, let's go ahead and attack after that very blank draw. Not too happy about Raise Verge Thicket there. However, we have put our opponent down to 4. We'll play Razor Verge Thicket in tapped and pass. End of turn, opponent draws a card with the Blood token. Alright, and Kiki flips into Reflection of Kiki. Opponent makes their land drop, currently at 5 mana, 3 in hand. Alright, Misery of Shadow from our opponent now. And they can Fire Breathe this, essentially. Go ahead and attack for 8 now. They can, yeah, buff this guy up a little bit, but nothing too untoward. Block, 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 block. Yeah, okay. Okay, opponent. I see what you're doing here. Alright, so opponent can buff this one up to a 5/5. If we deal damage to the 5/5 first, we can then kill one of these harvesters. That's not like a hugely amazing place to be in. Or we can kill 3 and they can just still have this guy on the board. Not like in love with either, honestly. So 5/5, 6/7. Yeah, well, let's just like take out everything else. There's no real better way to do it, right? Our opponent will keep this shadow guy, but they remove a bit of they lose a bit of their removal for Light Pause, and they also remove this Goblin Shaman token as well, importantly. So they're not going to be able to like Kiki Reflection one of these guys. Yep, so deal damage in that manner. We'll lose our creature, unfortunately, get a card draw, and then we can get Sentinel's Eyes back from the graveyard. Not super amazing there. Alright, so I guess at this stage we just unload our entire hand. We'll look to get some flying, and we'll look to donate a Griff Spoon onto our Basara Archer Tower and win that way. So Sentinel's Eyes on Basara. Exile, exile. Hammer Hand. Enters the battlefield, target creature can't block. This gives 1/1 haste. Well, I mean, this would be happening in the end step anyway, right? Second main, so it wouldn't be relevant. Stomp from our opponent. Okay, well, that removes our Light Pause from the battlefield. Opponent attacking with this one. And we just need this Griffspan to stay in the graveyard for us. Alright, no Fire Breathe effects on that one. Maybe our opponent's just dead to us. Alright, let's see what happens here. Excuse me, and we'll tap that one. Alright. And opponent concedes. Great. We take the victory. I'm not sure what our opponent was doing keeping that hand. It seemed like a little bit of an uninteractive one, really, but we'll definitely take that victory, and we're 2-1 going into round 4. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to let me know in the comment section below. Till next time, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you then.